You know what it is, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy.
You know who it is, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy.
Odie, Mari, Sodi, Maurice.
Maury Sodi, Maury Sodi.
Black and snurdy, black and snurdy.
Black and snurdy, black and snurdy.
Hey, oh.
Yes, Mo?
Are you ready?
Let's go!
Black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy. It's the Black and Snurdy podcast with Odie and Maurice. We now return to the Black and Snurdy podcast.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Wait, okay, time out. First off, so now we're doing a remix. We're doing a remix of this.
I always just remix it a little bit.
Okay, well, look, man, it makes me wonder sometimes if you keep me from going under. That's what you just did. You know what the funny thing is about that? Okay, so obviously that's the birthday song. That's the birthday song. You know what I mean?
The only birthday
That's
song
the only
we
birthday song.
recognize.
Okay, so as a side note, the Hill Sisters are the reason why, like, for a long time on TV, you could never hear them actually sing like that old washed happy birthday song because they owned the rights, which is why even in restaurants, like they would charge, like, if it even got out that you were doing like that standard boring happy birthday version, like you could easily be fined or charged or
So
whatever.
the Hill
and have
Sisters are the ones who wrote that?
they own the rights to it, but a few years ago the rights lapsed. So now, like, on TV and stuff, if you wanted to, you could do that old wash thing. I find it funny that, like, because so much time has passed since, like, that old bullshit happy birthday song existed, that, like, now, like, there's not only the Stevie Wonder happy birthday song, there's, like, the fucking 2 Chainz version of, like, happy birthday cake.
Everybody has a happy birthday
Everybody
song.
has a happy birthday song, and I like it.
But I have a question.
Yes.
Can I buy the old washed rights to the happy birthday song?
I think your bank account would have to dictate whether you could buy the old rights to the old
Is
wash.
this not public domain?
Oh, I think yes, it has entered into public domain. I didn't mean to shame you. What was that about?
I don't know what that was.
That
about.
was
I'm wealthy.
That was okay. Yes, you are healthy. You are wealthy. You're the shit. You are that bitch.
I am.
I wish I knew more of the lyrics, and I
healthy,
didn't want to.
I am wealthy. I am rich. I am that bitch. I am going to get that bag, and I'm not going to take any shit.
Fantastic.
That is Flo Milli, or Young Baby Tate, featuring Flo Milli, I Am.
And with that, hey, man, we're back. We are back on our stuff. Let's get into what have we been watching past week.
Well, I have some quick TV film updates for you.
Oh, updates.
Yes. So, do you remember in the beginning of this panacea, when there was a lovely man with a mullet and cowboy boots,
Oh boy,
known as the Tiger King, aka Joe Exotic?
Yeah, I do remember him.
Well, NBCU has cast John Cameron Mitchell to play Joe Exotic in their new Tiger King series.
So for the record, for anybody out there who's listening to this episode, we all apparently did not have a collective fever dream at the beginning of this prosciutto, in which on Netflix we all watched as like this very specific character of a human being cobbled together into eccentricities that gravitated towards tigers and had rivalries with Carol Baskins. Like Carol Baskins. Hello, you cat and kit. Like, I thought that we all collectively, like, there was a point. The fact that everybody was talking about Tiger King, I was like, is this a symptom of COVID? That we are all like super interested in this bullshit? Like,
but do you want to know something that I found very interesting? Allegedly, the Tiger King had been petitioning the Orange Menace,
Garfield,
to pardon him. And literally up until the day that he rolled out of office, people were like, oh, is he going to be a Tiger King? I'm surprised he didn't. I really feel like they're kindred spirits in some way, and I feel like he wanted to, and somebody crossed him off the list.
Which is weird because he pardoned Kodak Black, but not.
I mean, yeah,
but not the Tiger King.
I feel like that's why Lil Wayne sold his masters. So he could get pardoned and all that bullshit. But this man though, John Cameron Mitchell.
Who is this guy? I feel like his name sounds familiar.
No, you're gonna know who he is because he wrote and starred in that off-Broadway play Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
And I wanted to see that really bad, but it was just like I never had the time.
Yeah,
so.
it was essentially like non-rap Hamilton with how popular it was.
Exactly. That's a good description.
Yeah. I'm cultured.
He was also in Shrill. He plays A.D. Bryant's boss.
Wow.
And something that is also really cool about him is he's a part of the family. He's LGBTQIA+.
There we go.
Which is very important. Thank you.
Shout out to the LGBT plus community. We out here.
But that was great just because, the Joe Exotic is a gay man. And I think that we were just talking about this earlier about like whether straight people should be able to play like queer folks in movies or TV series. And for me, I don't think you should not be able to play a person.
Yeah.
But because how many times are they actually playing? How many roles do they create that are like actually openly queer in whatever their letter is on the spectrum?
Right. Like the point that I pointed out is like, it's not that I want to be a gatekeeper and say that straight people cannot portray gay characters in fiction. But because it's been happening for so long that I feel that why not open it up so that, hey, LGBT plus, let's portray LGBT plus.
Yes.
You know, like there's a whole history, dude, there's a whole history of cinema where just straight white men were like mincing. And yes, I'm using that word because that's the term that they were using back in the 50s and 40s and 30s. We just got finished watching a YouTube video that literally tracked all of this queer coding and sort of like the sort of like a condensed history of it. And yes, they use terms like that in order to, what have you. But yeah, let's open it up. Let's open up the representation, man. Like,
I think about one of my favorite movies, and probably the reason why I am one of my life goals is to be a drag queen, is Tu Wong Fu.
Yes.
That I don't remember what year it came out.
You be a drag king?
No, I want to be a drag queen. Because a drag king, I would be dressing up as a man.
Yes.
A drag queen, I just want to dress up as a woman, but like,
let's break this down.
All the extra accoutrement that drag queens bring to it, because it's not just them dressing as women.
Right.
It's the super overdone makeup, the dramatic makeup, the hair, the outfits, the glamour.
Yes.
And my drag queen name is already so amazing. Which, although, now I'm going to tell you my drag queen name.
Real quick, time out. I do want to, before you tell me your drag queen name, you want to, because the way that you just described it, you want to dress like in a sort of like I want to say garish. You know what I mean? Like, is that like...
I don't know
like
care. It's just dramatic.
Yeah, just super dramatic. You want to like super duper dramatic. Last summer, I hadn't seen you during the Panacea, and the first thing I saw of you was that you were wearing a tutu with a rainbow on it.
I was.
What you're saying is you want to dress out more outlandish than that.
Yes.
Yeah, during the summer.
Because
believe you had Chucks.
Because the thing is, whenever I see drag kings, one, I don't pull off mask really well, like, or AG. Like, I'm not a young MA. You know, I can't really, like, pull that off. Mm-hmm. However, I can be a very over dramatic woman. And I feel like
you can be.
I can be.
You can.
At times. Yes. I may or may not
in the present
have been voted most dramatic for my superlative in high school.
Well, you definitely are most dramatic on this podcast.
That is a lie.
That has to be true.
It's definitely not.
Absolutely.
Voters or listeners, please send your votes.
You're referring to them as voters. You're definitely the most dramatic.
But either way, when I think about that movie, I mean, that I saw that movie first when I was like 5 years old, and I just like fell in love. Yeah. And the acting, everything about it, beautiful, amazing. But the three leads are Patrick Swayze, R.I.P., Wesley Snipes, and John Leguizamo.
I was this close to saying Luis Guzman for some reason. I know it's not Luis Guzman, but it is John Leguizamo. That would have been
interesting.
Honestly, I kind of want to see Luis Guzman. Forget it.
In a reboot?
Yes, in a oh my goodness. They're older now.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, they have to get together because Patrick Swayze's character has passed away. Wesley Snipes, you know you got that Coming to America money. You could do it because you did really great in that, and I would love to see it. But when I think about those characters, now neither of the three of them have ever said that they are LGBTQIA plus. Yeah. So as far as we know, they are straight. Right. But they played the fuck out of those roles.
They did.
And so and also I've never. Have they ever said anything negative about the LGBTQIA community? I personally don't know. I've never heard of that. So I think that makes a difference as well. Like if you're a straight person who's like playing someone who's queer, I think that like that's fine as long as you're not saying disparaging remarks. Or trying to be like a I don't know, like there's maybe like a fetish or something, like not a fetish, but like you're just like.
What do you mean by this? Like, Can you elaborate on this?
So,
like you're fetishizing a role?
Like you're fetishizing a community. It would be as if like Are you
talking about like some Queen of Spades shit?
What is that?
Queen of Spades?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna paint a description for you.
All right.
A white woman with a tattoo of a Queen of Spades on her.
Okay.
And that's all I needed to explain. It's a real term. They really exist.
Wow. I've never heard of that before.
Yep.
Is that a movie term?
No, it is not. I mean, it's a genre. It is a searchable term.
I'm gonna look
it is
up.
A real term. Yeah.
I want to side note, I want to let the listeners know that we are drinking champagne for your birthday, and our champagne has little gold flakes in it because we're fancy.
Yes, we are. We're fancy. I do not have a drop for that, but still, shout out for my birthday. Cheers. Yeah. So I feel like some people, the same way you have like cultural appropriation. Yes.
Or someone just like putting something on just to like, I just want to see how this is, but not having any real commitment or care
or
about
connection to it. Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas I would think that if you're an actor or an actress, you will probably know whether people are out or not. You would probably know queer people. And if you are someone who's like open-minded and not a bigot and an asshole, you getting these roles would be like, I want to be able to just like, I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to talk to the right people. I'm going to immerse myself.
I mean, you would think, but
hey,
you would think. Let's
God,
let's say things are better from here on moving forward. But wasn't it just like last year when like freaking Liam Neeson was just like, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna do a Liam Neeson accent, but his ass was just like, yeah, it's just me, Liam Neeson. I'm promoting this revenge movie or whatever, and when I was younger, I used to chase black men down the street or something like that, or whatever it was.
He said. Basically, now I'm not condoning what he said, but what it was his sister had been assaulted by a black man, and he said that when that happened, he had never had any like racial issues prior, but after that happened, he was so angry that he wanted to he would go outside looking for a black man to beat up because he wanted to avenge his sister.
Right.
And
he thought that was a good anecdote to say during a press run.
Now, this is the thing. You know how sometimes, like we've talked about how like after I've read a racial book or watched a movie about racism, I have to sometimes have like a pause between those type of things, or else it'll be very difficult for me to be around white people without like having just anger boiling up top on my body, like be feeling hot. Yeah. So on one hand, I can understand him saying, someone brutalized my sister. I knew that they were black. I didn't know anything else about them, but that colored my view of black men. Right. But this is the thing. That could have stayed in the drafts. Yeah. You didn't have to say that to anybody because nobody needed to know that. Yeah. Pick another life story in your life or someone else's life that you could think of that is gonna want you to push revenge, because that was a story that he thought like, oh, you know what, this will add more depth to this interview. Look, man, listen, we get it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you get dark thoughts, like and I would without getting into far into the weeds on this one, because somehow we drifted away from queer coding into Liam Neeson hunting down. That's what happens when you're neurodivergent. Yes, it is. Shout out to the mental health community. We are accurate representation. He's going to be using these buttons literally so much. You have no idea. Honestly, I'm trying not to be obnoxious about it, but just get ready. Anyhow, but yeah, let me steering all the way back to where we started. I do feel like, let's just open it up so that there are roles and opportunities for members of the LGBT community to portray LGBT characters, because if representation is important, it would be great to know that the person that is being portrayed on screen by an amazing actor also connects with that character, both like on multiple levels. It's not just, I had to get into the mindset of somebody who loves men or something like that. No, it's just like, no, I already, like, that's already my experience that I, as an actor, I'm connecting to this character. But then I'm also bringing in the fact that, like, now I have to also do extra work to put myself in the specific scenario that character has already been in. Not to mention that I always say that, like, as far as LGBT is concerned, at least from where I'm standpoint, it's like, for me, it's as much as like the color blue is my favorite color. You know what I mean? It's a component. It's not my entirety of the identity. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like to be able to mine the depths of somebody whom there's a lot. And everybody within the community should be able to have access to those roles. Not just, fucking Scarlett Johansson and Ghost in the Shell bullshit. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And that's all. And we can move on. We can move on from there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That was good. Cheers. So I'm looking forward to watching this. It'll be very interesting. I want to know who they have playing his little boyfriend or husband, because that show was a lot. Yes. So in other news, when you talk about representation, my other boyfriend, Simu Liu.
He's your boyfriend.
Listen,
he's your other boyfriend. Can't say his name.
First of all, no, shut up. Okay, because it's late and
Yes.
my brain is not functioning.
That's the example. That's the reason.
Cylinders.
That's the excuse.
Okay. But anyway, today's his birthday, so happy birthday, boo. And if you don't know Simu, he was the brother, the cutie pie on Kim's Convenience, which is one of my favorite shows on Netflix. I've been hoarding it because I don't want it to end, and next season is their last season.
Yes.
But he is the lead in the new Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It's coming out on September 3rd, and the trailer dropped today, which is dope. And it's funny because everyone has just been talking about on Twitter, like, so y'all are doing all this and it looks great, but what the fuck happened with Iron Fist?
Okay, so I want to articulate something. As much of a comic book nerd, as much as a comic book enthusiast, as much as I am a Marvel aficionado, there are now we're getting into the point where there are C, D, and E level properties that are being unearthed and made into tentpole films, which is fantastic because honestly, let's be real. How many of you motherfuckers knew about the Guardians of the Galaxy?
I did not.
And guess what? Even if you're like, yeah, I was a big fan, guess what? That wasn't even their starting roster. What about Adam? Ooh, exactly. Deep cut, bitch. Anyhow, anybody who understands that reference understands what it is. I can sit here and admit that I'm not familiar with this property. I know it falls under, it's Marvel, and I understand that there was a series of comic books. But I was familiar with some, not all, but some of Iron Fist because he used to partner with Luke Cage as part of Heroes for Hire. So in my household, my mom would only let me read comics. She would acquiesce as far as comic books if they had black leads. So, your Luke Cages, your Storms, your Blades, your Spawns. The fact that I was able to get Spawn over.
Yeah, because that one was really dark.
But you know what it is? Every time I would black. I kept showing Al Simmons is black. Yes, he goes to hell, and yes, he has to lead an army.
Listen, you know what? When they do the
but
Spawn reboot, they could do. When they do the Spawn reboot, they need to make him when he first dies and goes to hell. They need to make that song "Call Me by Your Name."
Oh, what? Oh my God, Odie. I spent 6 hours playing around with this fucking mixer.
And I don't know how you didn't do it.
And the fact that I could and I should have a drop for that.
You should.
It's fine. It's fine.
Next time.
And
And once that drop is here, that's the only song that you're going to hear.
That's the only one that I'm going to break this board just for having that one drop. Anyhow, I'm excited about this property. That's the main thing that I wanted to say. I'm not familiar with it. I want to look at it because, again, talking about representation.
It matters.
It matters, right?
Okay, now, I showed you the trailer earlier, but I'm curious if you paid attention outside of Simu, if you paid attention to Aquafina.
Yeah. She's in it.
Yes. And,
cool.
And
shout out to Aquafina. You know what? Shout out to Aquafina. You know what I mean?
Are you going to have that shout out when I have what I'm going to say next?
Maybe I should have waited.
Yeah. That's literally
I probably should have waited.
The story of your life when we're having a conversation.
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Why don't I have Hamilton drops either?
I don't know why you don't have
I'm
any
really
of the
messing up.
that
You were saying.
Anyway, so people have been noticing that I don't know if you listeners know of Aquafina, but from the time she came out, she always sounded like an Asian girl who grew up in Brooklyn or Queens in an area that was predominantly black or like that to me is that's what I got off of her.
Yeah.
But as she has gotten more and more popular, her accent, or what some people call her black scent, has become more and more non-existent. And I've had conversations about her with some of my close Asian friends of just what they felt about her. And it's I think it's interesting because if you're an Asian person, and this is what people have told me, you're an Asian person, you come to this country, you're not white, you're not black, but you're going to go into whatever the culture is around you, right? And if the culture around you is black, even though I always like, there's no way to sound black, because to many people they would be like, you don't sound black, Odie, because of whatever affection, whatever my voice is not what they may deem to be a black girl.
There is a certain urban patois that you can understand that you associate with the black community. I completely understand that, and yeah, so there you go. Continue.
So yes, and so because I like some Asian people who are living in areas where they might be going to school with a lot of black kids, you're going to end up sounding like who you are around. So of course, that's just what you're going to sound like. It's not pandering or cultural appropriation. It's just like, this is me.
This is just what it is.
However, with Aquafina, I can't even remember what her real name is, because she just goes by Aquafina. The issue that people have taken with her is they felt like, when her coming up, she used this quote unquote black scent to get popular, but has now kind of thrown it off to be a more like mainstream actor. That is the commentary I've been seeing from people on social media.
Now, the funny thing is, ironically, I think that none of this is ironic. All of these are just buffer words because I needed time to formulate my thought, but I opened my mouth before I could even get there.
Surprise.
So here's the thing. I saw it the other way. I saw it as, for a long time, she thought that was because this was authentic. She's from New York, and this is what it is, and she just a part of the culture. And as we have been more aware about how, certain woke individuals, specifically woke white women, specifically Broad City bullshit, Broad City liberals or whatever, co-opt black terms and black terminology and stuff. I saw it as like a natural evolution of just like, oh, okay, I was not aware of that type of shit, and maybe I should actually take an active means of moving away from that instead of continuing to do it. I think it was a few years ago that there was an article written about I forget the name of the comic, and I wish I could attribute this Split Sider article, but it was essentially he wrote a draft for an episode of Broad City where it was a spec script that got a lot of attention. It was essentially an episode that he wrote where everybody came and gave Ilana an intervention about how her use of like black terminology is mad problematic, and getting her to like stop doing like yes queen and everything like that, you know what I mean? So I just saw it as an extension of just like her, like, like everybody is evolving. At the times are constantly evolving. She can't be doing that bullshit anymore. It's now time to move that shit away from it. I do see where you're coming from, that like, yeah, she made her beginnings off of that, benefited from it, and moved away, pulling like a pop singer sort of vibe, like whenever they start off all teeny boppy, and then they go and rub up on 2 Chainz at the MTV Music Awards.
That was Robin Thicke.
It doesn't matter. All of them do it, and then they say like, oh, that was just me going through a phase. And so the only person who, ironically, still is kind of doing the shit like, oh, I actually didn't use this. This is just who I am, is Justin Bieber. So
you know how he was like really vying for his album to be R&B and not pop, because he had the hip hop drums, is what he said. That was he said.
Oh yeah, no, he said the N-word too. I'm not. That's why he doesn't get the air horn. But taking it all the way back to what you were saying, it could be two things could actually be the same. It could have been. I don't know her heart. I don't know what the marketing strategy was. It could have been that she, I don't give anybody the benefit of the doubt, but I give like certain people like, hey, whatever. Like, as long as it got auto-corrected and you ain't doing that shit no more, hey, what it is,
I mean, I always give people of color the benefit of the doubt before I give white people. Yeah. But I think that with these sort of things, I can't really say what her, like you said, I don't know her heart. And also I think that like regardless whether you're black or a non-black POC, there are middle-class black people who pretend to like be down and like super hoods, one that went to like get into Hollywood or get into acting, singing, whatever. But then when you find out like where they're from, you're like, oh wait, you were just pretending to quote unquote like slum it so that you would get like famous, you know, and that happens a lot. I think that in itself is problematic. With Aquafina, I don't know if she has ever said anything like I don't know if she's ever said anything negative or problematic about Black people. I don't know who she talks about as her like the people she came up with, as in like the actors and actresses that she might have followed.
Okay.
I think that because America is so black and white, literally and figuratively, like our cultures, I think that when you are another person of color, you really only have two options. Are you going to go to one culture or are you going to go gravitate towards the other? And depending on where you're from is going to depend on what you're doing or like who you see as like your idols in music, in TV. Like I can't imagine myself being a non-Black person and looking at white people as like, oh, these are my idols. Because I will say, for me, like in history class or in school, whenever I was watching TV when I was younger, any person that was slightly melanated, I was like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have any like, oh, I don't know what they are. I'm just like, they're brownish.
Right.
Their hair is kind of curly. I don't know. Their nose is kind of wide. That is me, and that was it. Right.
Now, here's the thing. I'm no authority on this at all. I have noticed that in the last few years there's been a movement to at least examine, and much like with our community, like with the Black community, there is now support and like literal a wave of just saying, hey, we're a part of the Asian American and Pacific Island community. And instead of doing the sort of like Black white thing, instead of like being caught between two worlds, we're going to explore our own culture. We're going to explore how we have assimilated, explore all of that from a lot of different angles and tell our stories.
Yeah.
So, and in that, I am mad supportive. I'm extremely supportive. Like, we should all be able to like tell our own fucking stories. You know what I mean? And like, that's why when it comes to this, I again don't know nobody's heart, but I see it more of the fact that she was just in like Raya as the dragon, and now she's in this movie. Like, I see it more as moving into a space where maybe she's feeling more comfortable with like exploring her heritage and telling stories where little girls and little boys can see her on the screen and actually get a representation of her that is like more authentic to her and her family and her upbringing and her lineage, as opposed to like maybe seeing like, you know, that one dude who was in as a side character in How High, who was just like, he was like, buy us, fuck you. Like, I didn't do an accent. You noticed that, right? I did not do an accent. I just said the line. Yes. But like, again, going back to what we were talking about with queer coding, it just seems like this is the natural evolution of everybody being able to have the space to actually like explore and have representation for their own cultures. Yeah. And also, just most importantly, and this should be the main takeaway, kind of done with just watching just fucking regular white people. Sorry you guys. Sorry white dudes. Sorry white women who play characters of Black voices. Enough of y'all. Fuck out of here.
Like, the fact that Scarlett Johansson is not going to be able to play a Asian woman again is just, to me, top.
Wait, did she have two of them? It was like she had like, oh wait, I can't play an Asian. Oh, like I played an Asian woman, that was fucked up, but I'm gonna play a trans person. Like, wasn't that a thing, or was she playing
did she?
I feel like that was a thing.
She's like marked off a lot of boxes. I was reading an article. Well, when I say read article,
we saw the headline.
I saw the headline and I read a clip of it. But she said that she made her.
Of the two of us,
I'm the journalist, and I'm telling you very clearly that I looked at the headline.
This is a safe space.
I looked at the headline, and she said, "I have made my career off of controversy," and I was like, "Do I want to read this and potentially be annoyed?" So I said no, but I think you should read it so you can see what she said about playing Asian woman. I feel like twice, but so mad of them did it, and some of them are apologizing. Remember, there was a BuzzFeed article that we had found a few weeks ago, and it was like 16 people that regret playing there,
and we were like, okay, there's gonna be at least we know the one. We know the one for Nina Simone. Wasn't there one more black person? I was like, oh,
it was because it was 16
forgot.
people, and I thought that 15 of them were going to be white.
Yes,
but in actuality,
I also agreed it was going to be 15.
It was all white people except for Halle Berry. But this is the thing. Now, Halle Berry did redeem herself in this instance. She
was like, no,
she had taken the role of a trans man, but then with the pushback with people saying like, no, trans people need to play trans people, she was like, I'm gonna bow out. And that was it. But
we haven't even started shooting. I haven't even done a table read. It was just like, you know what?
Take the role.
No, I'm not doing this.
Which is, listen, that's what everybody.
Halle Berry. You know what? Shout out to you, Halle Berry.
Yes. Maybe it's because she's older than and wiser than Zoe Saldana. But like, we were just watching Drumline the other day, and I'm like, Zoe. No one debates your blackness. Like we know you're black. No one's confused.
I mean, I kind of did.
I don't know how you did.
A little bit. Look, she's been in paint the last decade. When was the last time she's been in a movie where she wasn't green or blue or Nina Simone?
She has really Afro facial features, so I'm not really sure.
Okay,
either way.
Enough. Okay, yeah.
Either way, I'm really excited to see Shang-Chi.
I am too.
Because having my boyfriend's the lead. Two, even though it is a kung fu martial arts movie, like that's the basis of it. I don't feel like it's the stereotypical like, oh, Asian people can only play martial artists, etc. It's like there's a whole story behind it that makes sense. And with our different stories across the BIPOC term, label, whatever, of course, sometimes the stories that they like to stereotype us into, we have those stories, and that's not a problem. We just need to have more of a variety of different stories.
Yeah.
So we have this. When are we going to get like a Korean drama that's not a Korean drama? Like, I want to see.
Oh, you mean Parasite?
No, not like that. But that was a great movie. But like,
it was just about a family.
Like, I want to see like a Korean
classism.
Sex in the City. Okay, I want to see a Korean Made in Manhattan.
Okay,
like those are like those are. That's what I mean. Like,
I agree with you.
We
yes,
need
we need a wider range of variety. You literally started this whole conversation by saying that you have not seen Kim's Convenience because you're waiting. You're banking. You're banking.
That's not what I said. I said that I haven't finished Kim's Convenience. I'm on season 3 and I'm waiting because I don't want to finish it out because next season is the last season.
Okay, I'm just saying, like,
but Kim's Convenience is also a TV show.
We're starting now. It's starting. It's kind of starting.
Kim's Convenience. I feel like one, I love Kim's Convenience. And so I loved Kim's Convenience and Crazy Rich Asians for these 2 reasons. Okay. Because they all remind me of my aunts and uncles. And I feel like when I was watching it, I'm just like, this is why we all need to band together, dismantle the white supremacy. Because so many of the things that are in our cultures are already like overlapping. And we're so much more similar than we are divided, and the only thing that's dividing us is white supremacy. That's what causes the anti-blackness, the Orientalism, all the other bullshit, and we just need to throw it out so that we can all band together, make really dope shit, make really dope creatives, and just make this money, secure the bag, and be happy.
I agree with you. Yo, I need to take a quick breather because this was such a passionate conversation.
It was. I didn't expect this to go this long.
I honestly did. Honestly, that's the beauty of our conversations is because we have no idea where they're gonna go. They go organically, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So we'll see you on the other side of this break. Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snurdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snurdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorish is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's that's OD. THATSOD.E, and on Twitter, THATSOD_E. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Sturdy Podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together.
Remember?
Bye.
Boy.
Not yet.
No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.